2018 coverage now. James Ellers, one of the 4 Democrats running for governor of Vermont, wants to double the state's child care assistance program. Says it would help more young parents get back into the workforce. Ellers said finding affordable child care is now a crisis in Vermont, and that is holding the economy back. Says it must be fixed. Today, Ellers released a new plan to invest $50 million to expand child care subsidies for low and middle income families.
Because a strong economy has to be a pro-mom economy, a pro-child economy. So we're going to call for a doubling of the child care financial assistance program by asking those most privileged, those most affluent, enjoying the highest quality of life in this state, to pay more, between 0.5 and 1% in income tax, as well as assessing a luxury home tax.
Now, Ellers proposes the 1% property tax hike on houses worth over $1 million and a surcharge on those earning more than $300,000 a year. Ellers said the impact on those Vermonters would be small, and the new money would make a big difference in attracting and keeping young families in the state. Governor Phil Scott is one of 4 Republican governors bucking President Trump and his pick for the U.S. Supreme Court. Scott refused to sign a joint letter backing nominee Brett Kavanaugh. The letter was sent from GOP governors from 31 states and territories, asking the U.S. Senate to move quickly to confirm Judge Kavanaugh. It's all part of a coordinated White House campaign to build public support, trying to get Kavanaugh confirmed in time for the High Court's new term this fall. Was President Trump trying to hide a hush payment or trying to make sure it was all on the record? That's the question after a tape-recorded conversation between President Trump and former attorney Michael Cohen became public. NBC's Blaine Alexander has the story tonight from Washington.
Jean-Claude Juncker.
The head of the European Commission at the White House today as President Trump's trade war heats up. But there is another battle brewing over his own recorded words.
Mr. President, are you worried about what Michael Cohen is going to say to prosecutors?
Thank you, Caitlin. Let's keep going.
Are you worried about what is on the other tapes, Mr. President?
Thank you all.
Tapes recorded in 2016 by the president's former attorney, Michael Cohen, and first aired by CNN. Cohen and candidate Trump discussing money to silence Playboy model Karen McDougal and her claims of an affair, which the White House has denied.
When it comes time for the financing, which will be...
Listen, what financing?
We'll have to pay you. So.
At issue, whether there was an effort to conceal the payment, a potential violation of campaign finance laws.
No.
On Twitter, President Trump lashing out at his one-time confidant. What kind of a lawyer would tape a client? On Capitol Hill, some lawmakers critical.
Look, I don't care about the president's personal life, but I think the issue that matters is his truthfulness.
Others sidestepping it altogether.
Yeah, frankly, there are other things to worry about here.
Specifically, the practical effects of a trade war threatening to claim more casualties. The president reportedly considering steep new tariffs on foreign cars, despite strong opposition from his own party.
And the auto industry is already speaking out against those tariffs. One group predicts that the price of an imported car could go up by as much as $6,000. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
College students could soon find it harder to get their loans erased in cases of fraud. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos announced proposed changes today. The new loans would allow students to get loans erased primarily if a school intentionally misleads them into taking out those loans. That cuts out a wider range of cases dealing with breach of contractual promises included in Obama-era rules. DeVos says her focus remains on protecting students from fraud. Former Team USA doctor Larry Nassar is filing an appeal in his sex assault conviction. He's now serving up to 175 years in prison for child porn and sexual abuse crimes. Nassar wants his Michigan sex abuse case retried, claiming the judge in the case made up her mind before court proceedings began and is asking that she now be disqualified. Nassar also says he has been physically attacked in prison. An appeals court in Florida is allowing news organizations to obtain surveillance video from the Valentine's Day school shooting at Parkland. It upheld a lower court ruling that the video is a public record and must be disclosed. News organizations, including the Associated Press, are seeking the video to better understand the actions of law enforcement during the massacre. They say they are not looking to get the footage of the actual shooting or any of the victims. Broward County prosecutors and the school board opposed the video release. 17 people, you remember, were killed in that attack. Tonight, officers at one Upper Valley Police Department are now wearing body cameras. NBC5's Matt Layton takes us to Hanover and shows us how this new tool is being used.
This program helps strengthen our transparency to our community, our accountability, but also helps increase our performance at the same time. And I think that's a value to the community.
As of Monday, body cameras became standard gear for officers at the Hanover Police Department. Chief Charlie Dennis says so far things are going great.
I believe the officers are enjoying using the technology and seeing how it will enhance their performance. And haven't heard any comments from our community members yet, but I think they will see the value in the technology.
The cameras can be mounted in 3 main areas on the officer's uniform, as it's up to them. Sergeant Christopher Swain says these cameras are very user-friendly.
So we sync it to the car, we activate our car lights, our emergency lights, kicks our body camera on, kicks the cruiser camera on, pre-records for 1 minute on our bodies, 30 seconds on the car, and then as soon as it's activated is when the sound starts, the audio.
Now, if an officer was doing a traffic stop, this is what it would look like from the body camera as the officer approaches the car. The department has a strict policy on how the cameras can be used, but there are times when they can't be used.
Yeah, unless we're out in the public. Again, that's back to the point of if there's that reasonable expectation of privacy.
Everything recorded has to be saved between at least 5 and 6 months.
So that's time enough if there's a complaint someone wants to make against an officer. We're not getting rid of that recording in 30 days. We're giving up to 5 to 6 months before any recording is released if it's not marked as evidentiary.
That way, it protects both the public and the police. In Hanover, Matt Layton, NBC5 News.
Thanks, Matt. New Hampshire is getting $5 million to fight the state of addiction. The grant from the Labor Department will go toward reemployment services for individuals recovering from opioid addiction. In all, $22 million is being split among 6 states. Next at 5:30, talk about sticker shock. Take a look at the bill some college students received that left them speechless. Plus, some of the most healthy and tasty choices out there when it's breakfast on the run.
And saying thanks, one girl's mission to share her appreciation with police officers across the country. Plus,
hate to have to cut a day in the soup kitchen, and I don't mean that as a threat, but that's the reality we are facing.
and donations needed. Charities in our region coming up short during these summer months. How you can help. Those stories are coming up at 6 o'clock. You're watching NBC5 News. We'll be right back.
You're watching NBC5 News.
President Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame was damaged early this morning. Officers received a report about 3:30 a.m. that the marker had been destroyed. In fact, officials say they think a man with a pickaxe hidden inside a guitar case caused all of that damage. A security guard reported the incident but says he couldn't stop the man because that sidewalk is public property. No arrest yet in the case. College isn't cheap, we know, but some students were pretty surprised to get a bill saying they owed millions. Students in online classes at the University of Nevada at Reno got a bill for over $10 million. Blame a computer glitch that caused one fee to come up just under $10 million. 3,400 students received that bill. A quick follow-up message from the university corrected the mistake. During the week, do you enjoy a healthy breakfast at home, or are you more likely to grab food from your favorite coffee place or fast food joint on the way into work? NBC5's David Schneider has a look at some of the better options.
A lot of people grab breakfast on the go, but there could be a lot of choices. Consumer Reports food experts secretly tasted 48 breakfast items and collected nutritional data looking for healthier and tasty options. People have lots of reasons for grabbing breakfast on the run.
It's a lot faster and easier than me cooking at home.
But are they trading healthfulness for convenience? Consumer Reports checked out the offerings at 6 popular chains, tasting 48 items that stood out on the menu as better choices, including sandwiches, oatmeals, smoothies, and other morning favorites.
It's kind of nondescript. It's not flavorful.
And they analyzed the nutritional information.
Well, it can be tough to find breakfast items with lower amounts of calories, fat, sugars, and sodium.
Quick breakfast sandwiches can span the nutrition spectrum. Starbucks chicken, sausage, and bacon biscuit has over 1,100 milligrams of sodium. A better sandwich choice would be Panera Bread's avocado, egg white, and spinach on a sprouted grain bagel flat with nearly half the sodium. Tasters found it fresh tasting and flavorful. More and more chains now have oatmeal as an option. The whole grain breakfast can be a great source of antioxidants and dietary fiber, but watch out for added sugars. The best ones are unsweetened oatmeals with toppings like fresh fruit, nuts, and raisins. CR says if you have to grab and go, there are good choices available, and you can upgrade almost anything you pick.
You can ask for honey or sugar on the side. You can make a better bread choice by choosing whole grain over, say, a croissant. And an egg sandwich can be perfectly tasty without the bacon or the ham.
Research shows that people who eat breakfast have lower rates of obesity, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes than people who skip the most important meal of the day. So it's a good idea to make healthy choices starting first thing in the morning. David Schneider, NBC5 News.
Thanks, David. Facebook users will get to test out a new feature today. It's called Watch Party, and it went live on the social media site earlier today. It lets users in Facebook groups interact with each other while they watch live streams, all in real time. Facebook is considering expanding the feature to friends beyond those groups, but that is still being tested.
Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Tom Messner.
All right, I know everybody has not seen rain yet. We've been advertising this in a big way. It is coming. It is getting closer. No, it really is. This is Storm Tracker here. I want to take you back in time. Look at the way we've seen the movement. This is the last 18 hours. There's been a ton of rain out there all to the west of us, Franklin County and also into St. Lawrence County in northern New York, but it is starting to shift now as we expected. So here we go, the rain getting into Clinton County in northern New York, a couple of raindrops threatening Plattsburgh, but you come across Route 11 here, Chateauguay, Malone, that's where the rain is heavier, and where you're looking at the yellow here, it's coming down at a pretty good clip. Parts of the Adirondacks here as you come on in southern Franklin County. And also we'll jump the lake here. I want to take you over toward, say, Ripton, Salisbury. We've been looking at some pretty heavy downpours here and there. All this stuff is coming from the south and it's moving to the north. We've got this big ridge of high pressure out over the Atlantic Ocean helping to draw up this tropical moisture, and this has been a few-day event, as you know. Watch how things are going to change. Area of low pressure and associated front, it's going to push this stuff out of here overnight tonight into tomorrow is when this movement is going to happen. So we're expecting periods of heavy rain. Some towns probably ending up with a couple of inches of rain, but with this stuff getting pushed by tomorrow afternoon, especially in the Champlain Valley in northern New York, I think we're going to find a little bit of sunshine. We're going to have to be a little bit patient, though, I think, during the day tomorrow. In the morning, it's going to be wet. I want to take you around the region here. Burlington, it is cloudy. We've got a few rain showers certainly in the forecast, maybe a couple of drops right now. Ausable Forks, 67 degrees where there's been some rain. Lyndonville, 73. Look at the clouds, looking pretty nasty. And Hanover, if you take a look at Dartmouth here, it's looking wet on the roads there. No big surprise. All right, let's look ahead. This is the future rainfall. What are we expecting? Well, this is through Thursday, tomorrow at 7:30, and I bring that to your attention. This is important because we get a bit of a break tomorrow night, but then by Friday afternoon, I think we're going to add to these totals. Over an inch for many of us throughout the Champlain Valley. That's the way it's looking right here, Futurecast model, indicating that up in the Northeast Kingdom, maybe over an inch, and up and down the Connecticut River Valley. And again, we will add to that on Friday night. All right, temperatures, 81 Burlington, 79 Plattsburgh right now. We've got 70s up and down the Connecticut River Valley. Here's what to expect for tomorrow. In the morning, that should be the wettest part of the day, maybe a couple of thunderstorms, and that chance for rain around until early afternoon. Then we find some clearing later in the day as the front does pass on through. This is Futurecast. We're looking ahead a few hours from now, 7:30. We've got a line of showers and probably some thunderstorms in there too. And it could be kind of busy this evening. We're watching for you right here at NBC5. Thursday, 3 o'clock in the morning, pretty wet down to the south. 7 o'clock, still wet east of the Champlain Valley, especially eastern Vermont, New Hampshire, down towards Springfield, Keene, of course. And then we find some clearing, especially in northern New York, a little bit later in the day. On Friday, we start out with a mix of sun and clouds. In the afternoon, some showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms in there too. Thunderstorms certainly possible tonight. Periods of rain, 69. It is going to be humid. And then for tomorrow, we're going to find some clearing late in the day from the north and west, and it's happening down to the south and east. 84 next couple of days. Mainly morning showers tomorrow, certainly some east of Lake Champlain into the afternoon. Then afternoon showers, thunderstorms Friday. Saturday, a couple of showers around. Not a bad day. Sunday looks to be the drier of the two weekend days, but neither day is bad. Monday looks good. We've got scattered showers Tuesday and then some storms returning next Thursday. And looks like, well, Wednesday, Thursday too, and then Friday, Saturday, Stuart, looking pretty good.
All right, Tom, thank you. Well, a microburst during a Las Vegas thunderstorm was caught on camera. Take a look. The microburst was caught on a time lapse during a storm last week, showing rain and wind whipping through the city. In just minutes, a few clouds turned into a huge thunderstorm, stirring up the air. A microburst is a column of sinking air within a thunderstorm, and they can cause damage, even become deadly. No arms, no legs, no problem. Next at 5:30. See how an extraordinary swimmer and daredevil set a new world record. And new at 6, a young girl makes sure police officers in our region are feeling some love. You're watching NBC5 News.